there, it's Whitney with messengerofspirit.com, and today we're going to be talking about the energy of money as it relates to your chakra system. Now, if you're not familiar with your chakras, they are energy centers that help funnel energy in and out of our energy system. And they correspond to parts of the body, and they correspond to our emotional processes and our thoughts and our mental processes and our spiritual processes as well. And you can find out lots of great information about the chakras. Everybody seems to have their own take, but I wanted to talk more about what's going on in our energy system when it has to do with money and the spirituality factor and how that relates to abundance when it comes to the monetary aspect. Now, abundance can relate to anything, an abundance of love and joy and support. Now, unfortunately, if we start just saying, I have abundance, we could also get an abundance of bills or an abundance of junk mail. We don't want that. So we always want to be specific if you're using the law of attraction about abundance. But let's just talk about the part when it comes to money. So I see a lot of people in the spiritual area kind of disassociate from material things. And I totally get that, because when we transition, when we cross into spirit, we do not take anything that's material. We just have ourself, our thoughts, and our emotions, and the spiritual part of ourself. But we are living on the earth plane, and so it's okay to deal with material things. Now, that doesn't mean that we want to collect them and put all this energy into them. It's an okay thing. So we don't want to have this obsessive connection to material things, but we also don't want to completely disassociate from it either, because we're here on the earth plane and we want to have a balance. That's in all things, you want to keep a balanced mind. We always want to be in balance. So one of the things that I wanted to get into is our root chakra. Our root chakra is at the base of our spine. It has to do with our safety, if we're grounded on the earth plane. It has to do with survival. It has to do with familial patterning, our physical health, and money. It does. So any kind of fear, that's in the root chakra. Usually when we're experiencing fear, it's a threat to our survival. It's a threat to our psyche too. So we think of survival as like, oh my gosh, I'm running away from this animal that will eat me. But in our psychological sense, a lot of anxiety can stem from the root chakra if it's closed or just too overactive. If we feel like anything is threatening our survival when it comes to money. So that is some area that we need to look at a little bit more. Now, when we are dealing with a lot of spiritual things, generally we only really decide like ourselves. We're like, oh, I just want to just work with the heart chakra up. That's all I care about. But that means that you're not in balance and you'd be very top heavy. And so eventually you're going to fall down to the ground if we're not going to be working on those lower chakras, because all this beautiful energy could just be blooming. And then you've got the small roots, right? And so we need to be working from the solar plexus, sacral, and the root chakra, in addition to all these other chakras too. We've got to be in balance. We have to have that energy flow that's coming through us. And so if you are working on some monetary issues, I would suggest highly to look at the root chakra. But I find that a lot of spiritual people are just like, oh, money is just not necessary. It's all energy. Well, money is energy. It is the tool that we've assigned on this earth plane for reciprocal exchange. Now, in different cultures, that could be something totally different. You'll also find people trading things. That's completely fine. That's an energetic reciprocation. I want you to start looking at money that way too. It's a reciprocation of energy. And so you might feel fine trading with somebody, but then if you're getting money, you might go, oh, no, I'm good. Well, money is only energy. That is all it is. And so you might be thinking, well, I just feel like I'm greedy, or, I just don't really feel like I want to receive. And if you're not receiving, we got to start looking into that sacral chakra. Now, receiving can be in other areas too, but our sacral chakra is our second chakra. It has to deal with emotions, it has to do with relationships and letting go of things. But I've found, along with the heart chakra, that a lot of it is I receive. I let go and I receive. Now, a lot of people who are super sensitive just want to give, and they don't ever replenish themselves. Have you ever been around somebody who's an extreme giver? They love it. They get excited when they give, and they give support. They give emotional support. They help people. They're the first to get up and go do something for somebody when somebody's in need. But what I would say is make sure, if you're one of those people, that you're also receiving for yourself, because if you're constantly giving and you're not receiving energy coming in, then you're going to be completely depleted, and then years later you're going to be mad and you're going to feel like, I never got anything back. And you're probably thinking, I would never say that. But what happens is you will say that, and then you're going to feel guilty for saying that. That's all stuff that's going on in the energy system. And so what I'd love for you to do is just acknowledge to receive. If you're a giver, it might translate into money, where you're giving. You give your kids money, you give money to charity, you're paying all these bills, but you feel like you're not worthy of receiving for some reason, or you're having issues receiving or getting the money. And if that's you, then the same thing's going on energetically. It's just dealing with the monetary part of it. So it's all energy, and it's important that you work on those lower chakra things. Sometimes we don't want to, because we're like, oh, if I have to work on my lower chakras, well, if I'm dealing with my root chakra, that means I have to work out more or eat better because of my physical health. And then I have to really look at the bills and the material things, and that's not fun. So I'm just going to play with spirit. See how easy that is? Well, when we're working on these issues, it's important to replace these negative thoughts, these associations that we have. I am safe. I give my permission to be safe. I am grounded. I am calm. I receive, as we're getting more into the sacral chakra. I have healthy relationships. And when I talk about relationships, I am not just talking about your spouse or your partner. I'm not talking about your friends or your family. I'm also talking about the relationship with yourself and the relationship with money. And I have healthy relationships. That's in the sacral chakra. So we've got to do that work. And then also the third chakra is one that I wanted to really enforce. So those who are super sensitive, like by feeling or by just knowing the messages from spirit. So if you're also an empath and you're just feeling everybody's emotions, that has to do with the third chakra. And that third chakra is going to be a sensitive center for you. But that's also where your battery is, where your charge is, where you feel like, whoo, I got some energy, I'm going to go out and help these people. And if you continue to give, and you don't charge your battery up, then you're going to just help people like this and then get resentful and tired and grumpy and all that stuff that we don't want. It also has to do with how we are in the workplace environment. So if you're having any kind of issues with your job, or perhaps if you're self-employed, that's going to be also something to look at in the third chakra. Now, also of all the chakras, they're important, but I usually see job-related things in the root chakra and the third chakra, and then also in the throat chakra with expressing themselves. But we're just really diving more into the lower three right now. So with this third chakra, it would be great for you to have some I am statements of I am worthy, I am confident. The reason I say I'm worthy is I do see that a lot of the monetary issues, really when we dive deep in, have to do with worth. So we don't think that. Like you might be hearing this and say, I got no problem with worth. I thought I had no problem with worth until I realized that all these other things I had created about money all trickle down to worth. And maybe you're somebody that's like, whew, that's expensive. I don't want to buy that. And I can't pay this. Oh, that's just too much. What's going on is worth. You're saying that is not a value for me, or this amount of money is not worth that. And what it's doing is it's reflecting back to you about your worth. So what does that say about your worth? So just a couple things for you to think about as to how it relates to your chakras. And I would definitely encourage you to work on the lower 3 as well as all the other ones too. But I wanted to give you some insight as to what might be going on. And if you want to dive any deeper into this, which I hope you do, I would love for you to come to our free challenge about how to increase your financial abundance through your intuition. You can join us at messengerofspirit.com/challenge. And if you feel like you're late to the party, no big deal. They are going to be recorded, but only for a short amount of time. So I do want you to get in as soon as you possibly can. Go to messengerofspirit.com/challenge. And I hope to see you there in our free 3-day live training to help you get unstuck and start getting to that place that you wanted to get to of financial abundance. All right. Well, I will see you soon.